Hey everybody, welcome back. Check it out. HobbyKing Paramotor. Paramotor. That's right, you heard me. Pretty awesome. Probably weren't expecting something like that, were you? Little known fact, I used to fly a paramotor. Paraglider. I used to have a, not a wheeled one, but one that you put on your back and run and fly. I'll post a picture of it now. It was a good time, did it for a couple years. Maybe we'll do it again someday. Anyways, kind of been digging on the trikes one lately, so it's kind of fitting that this comes out. So good job, HobbyKing. Here's what you get in the box. I haven't even taken everything out yet. But here's how it's packaged. So this is obviously going to be your glider, your wing. You got some landing gear. Here we're going to have the main frame, body, whatever you want to call it, chassis. Here we have a bag. Put the glider in. Got it taped down really well. Here you got some of the, for the hoop that goes around the fan, you've got some of the pieces for that. And here you've got some other pieces, the arms for pulling on the lines and whatnot. Down in the bottom here, we have the propeller, big propeller. I can't read it with the packaging on there. And then we have the hoop. That's going to go around the fan so you don't get your lines and everything into it. So, let me get this stuff here out of the package and then we'll be right back. Okay, here's everything out of the package. So you've got your glider bag, and all your other pieces. These are some G10 looking, I mean, you see your servos here, so they're going to go kind of like that, like arms, you know, guy pulling down, so you're going to pull down on your risers. A little bag of some hardware. You got really cool looking metal clevises, some zip ties, looks like some Velcro there. Here's your propeller. Nice big propeller. Let's see if you can get a, I don't know, I can't tell if it's focusing on that. Anyways, there's your big old prop. And then here's the pieces and your hoop. The hoop has got really cool stuff on the outside of it there, you can see. So, really cool. It's going to be a really neat looking deal. So, can't wait to put it together, show you guys, which we'll be doing next. So make sure you stay tuned. You're not going to want to miss this. This is unique and cool. Kind of see how stuff's all laid out. You've got the speed control here, which you can see is a 50 amp. I don't know if you can see that. I can. Your servos and your motor. So the hoop and stuff is going to go back here, landing gear through here, battery through there. Speaking of battery, always check the description of my videos because I'll have links to the things that you need. So here we have a 5000 3S battery pack. New rhinos. Pretty awesome. It's going to make her fly. So, and of course the glider. Can you hear that? Being a paramotor guy, I just love the sound of a crispy wing. So anyways, we'll get to that all later. So we'll get into the build and show you how that goes. So stay tuned. Okay guys, first thing I did, put the main landing gear wheels on it. Just that much easier to deal with and work with. So that's me. So anyways, after this, what I'm going to end up doing here is you got to take this motor block off, because all your hoop pieces will fit into there coming out, right? So that's going to be my next step. So we'll be back once I get that done. Okay, so I've took all the bolts out of the motor. Got to get all that off. So now your hoop holders, as I will technically call them, are going to fit down in here. They'll all kind of fit in. They've got a little kind of a notch on, or notch, kind of a little leg that sticks out. So they'll kind of work them down in there and then they'll fit, and that's what's going to hold them in place. So we'll get all those on there, then we'll bolt this back on, and then on the top big bolts is going to be where this big piece goes, kind of like so. So we'll come back after we get that on. Okay guys, we got all that on. So we got, this is where the wing's going to attach to. This is where your hoop is going to attach to. Everything is tight and in place. So now to attach the hoop, I don't know if you guys can see. Notice it has a thicker section with the shorter little, you can see it's got kind of, I don't know, they call it scallops, indentations, whatever they are. The shorter ones will go forward, so it'll go like so. Okay, and it's got holes in it, which is for zip ties. So I'll get the zip ties fed through there and I'll be right back and show you how that goes on. Okay, so you're going to take your ring, you're going to take 4 zip ties. I hope you can see here how I've got them through there. So you'll fish them down through and back up. Then with the bigger leading edge, you're going to put it on here, kind of get her into place, and then put the zip tie. There's actually a notch here. It's like so, and then you're going to put your zip tie through and then tie it down. And you're going to do that for all 4 of them. Okay, we got the ring on. See, the zip ties are all mounted. It's actually pretty strong. So what I did here is once I got them on there, I pushed them over so they don't stick up. That way the strings on the glider aren't going to hit them, you know. So there you go. So we got the disc. By the time you get it on there, it kind of makes it square. But you can see we got lots of clearance, so it's not going to be an issue. So, and I would assume in an event of a crash, these little zip ties would probably snap before anything else was break. So everything else is pretty stout. So, and I mean, this stuff is all aluminum. So yeah, there you go. There's that. Next we'll get the glider out here and we'll start figuring that out. So that last 2 beeps, the dan dan, means that there's brake is not applied. So on this you want the brake applied, because with these strings, if you land, that prop is still spinning, you don't want them to get stuck up in there. So I'm going to have to tinker a little bit and see if I can figure out how to make the brake, get into the programming and get the brake working on this. Now, so we will turn the brakes off. You'll notice here, no brake. Unplug, full throttle, plug in. Now throttle down. You'll notice it doesn't do the last beep, the up. So here's the brake is on. Yep. That's what you want. Okay, so we'll unplug it, plug it back in. Notice it doesn't have the last beep that goes, "Ding." There we go, so we got brakes on. Good thing. Here we go. I'm going to do a rebind. That'll keep these arms from going down every time I plug the battery in, and then we'll be golden. So yeah, perfect. Okay guys, I'm going to show you how I came to this point in my programming. It probably won't make sense to everybody, and not everybody is using an old radio like I am. 9503 JR, let me see here. It's hard to do this upside down. But anyways, my reversing, I had to reverse the elevators. That was it. Sub trim, you can see I sub trimmed the aileron and elevators up high. That's how I got them to where they are. Travel adjusts. I've got 150% on the aileron and elevator because I plugged these servos into the ailerons and elevators. And then we come down to the mixes. So here you can see how I did the mix here. So I mixed the elevator to the aileron so I get one side to talk to another. And then I did another mix, aileron to elevator, to make the one side talk to the other. It's kind of screwy. It's just kind of how I came up with it on my own. I didn't have anything to go off. That's really it. There's not much to it. I'll show you the monitor. If you guys can see the the monitor, you can see what's going on. You don't want anything to go up. You just want things to pull down, because when things pull down, that's how the wing works, right? So if they both pull down, that's a flare. You only use that, both of these down, is landing. You don't really use that in the air, maybe for some sort of aerobatics. I don't know if these RC ones do the same ones as a full scale, but you'll never use that. So elevator is not to go up or down. Throttle is your up and down. So there'll be a throttle speed for parallel horizontal flight. There'll be a throttle speed for going up. There'll be a throttle speed for going down, which would be cutting the throttle. So when you turn, what you're going to do is you're going to pull on the brakes on each side. So this is going to be a right turn. This is going to be a left turn. That's all you want. That's all you need. Hopefully you'll see when we get some video, maybe a little more for you guys that have never flown or done paramotors and stuff before. Basically, on the back of the wing, you're pulling it down, which is going to add drag to turn it, you know, those directions. So you pull this, it's going to change the shape of the wing to add some drag on this side. It's going to turn that way. That's how it works. So when you flare, it's going to pull them both down. It's going to pull the back of the wing like this. It's going to slow her down, kind of make you flare. If you do that and just hold it, you're going to stall and you're going to crash. So you don't want to do that up in the air. It's probably with altitude, you could probably screw around and experiment, but close to the ground, you're just going to use it for a flare. So we'll see. I've had good luck with full-scale paramotoring. I've never flown one with wheels on it, and I did the backpack style where you run the takeoff and land. So we'll see if it equates out to how this works. So anyways, I'm pretty stoked to try this. Can't wait. I hope this makes sense to you guys. If you have any questions, ask down below. Make sure to read the description of the video and stay tuned. I'm pumped to show you this thing in the air. Okay, we've got our glider out here. We've got our risers. They have the brakes labeled, so we know where they're going to go. What we need to do is make a mark and measure them 25.5 inches from this knot where they come up and join to the wing lines up here. So I'm going to take this off of here. I'm going to take it out of there. Don't mess with anything because you don't want to screw with how everything is kind of set up. And lay it on your tape, 25.5 inches. Take a Sharpie, put a line on it. So don't stretch it, just put it on there, put it straight. 25.5, put a line. So you want to do that to both sides. That'll help us with our setting up later. And then once you're done with that, you'll want to take and just tie it, run it back through this little guide and just kind of tie it back off so it doesn't come loose or get, because you don't want to get everything twisted up or knotted or out of alignment. So it'll be easier to do later. But I haven't unfolded the wing yet, so I'm going to keep everything simple and get everything marked out, and then we'll move on to hooking it to the paramotor. Okay guys, now to hook the wing up to the frame here, we have these awesome kind of a D-ring clevis, whatever you want to call it. Like, they're stout and awesome. I'm not gonna lie, I'm pretty impressed. So make sure your wing is pointing the right way. So you get your left and right risers. So for me, I prefer to have, oh sorry, let me get this more in screen for you. Anyways, I prefer to have the clevis, the threaded portion, on the inside. So what you really want is you want nothing on the front, right? So let me get this through here with the threaded section on the inside, and we'll go down here and we'll put it through. There we go. Okay, then we'll do the same thing to the opposite side here. We'll take this little D-ring apart. You want the thread section to the inside. So you've got your risers. The goal here, what we're trying to do is we're keeping the A's forward. So the A's is this little one here with 3 lines on it. That's your A. So we'll put that through there. Same deal. Now your brakes will connect over to here. So we'll take that loose, but keep in mind it needs to keep going through this ring on here. I hope that's showing up for you guys. It's got to stay going through that ring, and then we're going to come through here. Okay. And then I'm just going to put kind of a little knot in it for fun. We're going to do the same deal to the other side here. Oops, I accidentally took it all the way out. So if we go through there, we'll go through here. And put a little knot in it so it can't go all the way back through. That'll keep it from going anywhere. Okay, so to set the brake lines here, remember the mark we made? Hope you guys can see that. We're going to want to pull this up, put some tension on it. You want to put a knot or tie this so that that mark goes with the top of the D-rings. So I hope you guys can see it. You don't want it to be straight up and down. You don't want it to be sideways. You want it to be a little bit of an angle. And then you're going to put a knot in it so that it stays with the top of that D-ring when your servos are at neutral. So that's what I'm going to do next. Same thing for both sides here. So the mark, where are we at here? You can see this one, I tied the knot in a little different spot. It's going to have to come up here to get this black mark at the top of the D-rings when you have a little tension on it. So I'm going to get that adjusted and then we'll be right back. Okay, after a bunch of fiddling and adjusting knots and whatnot, I got it to where I feel it's pretty close. You also want to pick it up with your battery on there. Make sure it balances. This is where it's going to hang. You don't want nose down. With this 5000, it balances pretty good. I've got my marks are pretty much even side to side. We're pretty good, so I'm pretty happy about that. We got our throws and stuff, so I think we're about ready to head out to the field. So once we get some nice weather, we'll put the prop on, we'll go out in the field, and we'll see how she goes. Stay tuned. Okay guys, once you get your lines all on here and everything, you're going to do kind of what I would call test kiting. Put the wing on the ground, you're going to pull it up and just see how it comes up. Make sure everything's not going crazy to one side or another. And I did a couple fine adjustments here. And the torque of the motor is going to make it want to go left, so you're going to need a little right anyways. But anyways, so you're going to want to make sure that your trims, pull that one side down. So I think we're about ready to do probably a maiden for this thing. So once we get the weather, which is supposed to be nice tomorrow, GB and I will go out and we'll see how she flies. I'm pretty excited. Haven't flown full scale, so to speak, paramotors. I'm pretty stoked to see how this goes. I think it'll be a lot of fun. So not to mention compact, like you could almost take this on a motorcycle with you to a flying field. So pretty cool. So stay tuned. You're not going to want to miss that. Okay, here you see I've got the wing all tucked away in the bag. I just you grab the lines. You never want to let go of the lines, but you grab the lines, run it all the way down. You can make a rosette, it's called. I lay it out on the table, kind of folded it up and stuffed it in there. If you always leave them hooked to the paramotor, and you always leave this kind of like this, there's really no way you're going to get this stuff, tangled up. So if it's connected at each end, you can't. I mean, you could probably twist it through there, but if you're careful, you can make sure not to tie these lines up. Not that it's a big deal. Worst case scenario, you'll take them off the paramotor, square them up, which I kind of had to do initially. I didn't get that on camera because it just kind of happened. but one side had a little twist in it, which could have been me, could have been not, so not a big deal. But as long as you don't start taking these and twisting them through the lines and going like this, you'll never have a problem. So anyways, she's pretty much ready to rock. So it balances out. It's got that 5,000 on it, looks good. Got my radio set up, kind of mixed as best I could, and I think we're going to go for a Maiden tomorrow, weather permitting. So keep your fingers crossed things are going to work out. Stay tuned, subscribe, and down below in the comments, always watch the comments, but the description of the video, because I always have links to what I use, like the receiver and the batteries and whatnot, and also tips that I maybe forgot. There we go. Ha ha.